Oh, hi, Twitch. Hi, YouTube. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today, chat? You guys feeling all right? You doing you making good life choices today? Bring the music down a little bit there. We have Brian Ibbott here with us. We're gonna start the show here in just a minute. Brian Ibbott, thanks for being here.
It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you.
It's so good to be had.
So good that you feel good about being had. I don't fucking know. Oh,
I don't know how much further to take this.
I don't know. Evening, Nismaru. By the way, it's okay to curse if you wanted to get a little sailory.
Oh, cool.
It's
okay.
It's got the E tag.
Listen, I'm drinking. I can't be
a little surly.
I can't be responsible.
Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this music, chat. Okay, we're gonna drop it a second. We're gonna take that music out, and then we're gonna put some new music in, and that music's gonna be the thing that starts the show. Okay, gentlemen, are you good to go? Because I'm good to go.
I'm good. Yep.
All right, we're gonna get things started. Happening in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Joystick and Mouse, video game news and reviews for all you filthy casuals out there. My name is Alex. I go by Cross in the gaming community. With me, as always, is Diddy.
Howdy, folks.
And in J-Dime's seat today, because he's off doing college-y things is the word I'm going to use today. It is it's Brian Ibbott, podcaster, Hall of Famer extraordinaire, and the host of all the podcasts in the world, also known as Coverville. Brian, thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, go on.
You just keep saying.
No, I mean, go on.
He's got the best bald head I've ever seen in my life.
Hey,
there we go. All of this is true. Hello.
Happy to have you here. Brian is a well-known podcaster. If you've been listening to anything that I've been doing, we've had him on all the shows, really. The Dad Chronicle. He hosts America's Next Top Podcaster, which is what Diddy and I have both been on, and as well as one of the longest-running podcasts ever, Coverville. So anything else that I miss? TMS.
That's it.
TMS.
TMS, of course.
Kind of a
Film
big deal.
Sack. Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
Too many to mention.
Well, we do appreciate you being here, and you're going to have some fun with us as we talk about video games. You know, Sony had kind of a big day the other day.
They did.
This week, Sony held a PlayStation showcase that reminded us who has the best lineup of games and why that $500 console is worth every penny. So let's dive into what was announced and look at our favorites and maybe some other angles of these announcements that weren't readily apparent on this episode of Joystick and Mouse. And just like we do, chat, before we really jump into things, I kind of want us to take a moment and just recap some of the crazy things that we experienced lately. Me specifically, I watched this movie, and this movie I was very excited to watch. Okay, guys, Malignant. Have you guys heard of this movie?
Yeah, this is getting all sorts of promoted on HBO Max.
Yeah, it's got all these like really rave reviews. Everybody's really like loving this movie. I can't explain how bad it was. Like I'm legit like one of those people who's like, I'm gonna find everything good and everything, you know, like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
This was like, it's total B-rated horror movie, but I didn't expect it to be B-rated, which is what my problem was. I think. You know,
I love a good B-rated horror movie. You know, like
me too.
When the giant bees attack, or you know, the 70-foot alligator decides to fight the 110-foot python. Those are great. Those are fantastic movies.
Yeah, it was a very fun watch. But, you know, from James Wan, like I was expecting The Conjuring, like super spooky sort of a deal. And I was met with parts where I like genuinely laughed. And I remember going on Twitter the other day, I was reading Garrett Weinzierl was like talking about how he was really disappointed in this movie. I was like, Garrett, just stop being a wiener. Like, it's probably a lot of fun. Just don't be one of those people. And I was totally being one of those
Maybe a
people that
hater.
was watching. I was watching it, and I was like, "Dude, it's not good." I was so upset. But it's a fun B-rated.
It's a bummer because I was looking at this thing thinking, all right, I'll have to check this out. But now I'm thinking I won't. And I'm thinking I won't bother with it.
You know, if you really want one of those scary movies that's just a really silly watch and a little over the top, doesn't really commit to being ultra super scary. It could have been ultra super scary, but didn't really commit. There's a time and place.
Give me like a comparison. What's another movie that would fit into this same category?
I'm genuinely so. Have you ever seen?
So are we talking scary movie level?
No, not
B level scary movie, like something that is along the lines of this quality of scary movie,
like The Grudge 2 or The Grudge 3 or whatever. When it started to get like really just kind of silly at times.
Okay,
it's kind of like that,
but not knowingly silly, right? Not like a Happy Death Day or a Blumhouse kind of thing.
No, it tries to. It really like does its best to like be scary at times, and they're like, "This is really scary, right?" Like they're kind of like, "Look at this, look what we're doing here," and it's not, it just doesn't nail it. And I was a little upset because I was really looking forward to it, but
that's a bummer.
You guys ever see Scarecrow Gone Wild? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Scarecrow, like
no, but that sounds fantastic.
It's like it's like a step above Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and like those sort of like really terrible B movie like horror movies. It's not like that. Like it's not
Sci-Fi Network level,
right? You know, it's just a little goofy at times, kind of actiony, and it tries to do its best to figure out its place and doesn't really nail it. So
you think it looks like it's got a good budget, so you think that they would have put some
James Wan, bro, like
stuff behind it. James Wan, exactly.
Wait a minute. I take offense that Killer Clowns from Outer Space is labeled a bad movie. Come on.
Oh no, you're right.
No. It is a fantastic movie.
Oh no, you're
it's a fantastically bad movie.
Yes. Thank you. Diddy, anything going on in your world that you want to talk about?
Oh my God. So you know, every once in a while you just like tweet something out and it'll take off and gets a life of its own. So this week we had an Amazon package delivered. And when Amazon sent us the picture verifying that it was delivered, my cat happened to be in the door yelling at him. So I posted the picture on Twitter and tagged Amazon in it, and it has gotten a life of its own. And it's up to the tens of thousands of likes and retweets and stuff, to the point where my cat now has her own Twitter account called Guard Cat Jaina. And Amazon, it's almost like Amazon is promoting this, because every time I post something, they respond to it with these ridiculous pun-filled responses. You know, now like the latest one is, you know, that she could be a perfect guard cat.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the knee. Just knee slapping.
And she's a sight for 4 eyes, and on and on and on. It's absolutely hilarious that this thing took off. And of course, you know, I can tweet all day long, you know, and like 10 people respond if it's a really good one. Nope. Guard Cat Jaina is the one that has taken off.
You know, sometimes when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Oh, you.
That's true.
Oh, yes. You. Hold on again. We're just gonna knee slap it.
I'm looking at the photo right now. That's awesome. What a great shot.
And like we just got this random picture from Amazon, and we're like, oh, that is so good, and it is so typical of this cat.
Is she hissing or is she meowing at the?
She's meowing.
At the Amazon
She's just yelling.
Yeah, okay.
There's somebody outside. She doesn't want to hurt them. She wants to go out and kitty death roll and have, you know, be petted and loved on. And
she's a sweet cat.
She's great.
She's a very sweet cat.
She's great.
And Yeah,
And her name's Jaina, and yes, she is named after the mage extraordinaire.
got some good. Yeah, we got some good dad jokes in the chat. By the way, you're walking a feline with those puns, like a
Ooh,
fine line, chat.
fine line. Yeah. That
Freaking
one made mine look better.
pretty good. Brian's is suddenly safe. Speaking of
Right.
safe, Brian is now safely on this side of the world. Brian
That's
talked
right.
a bit about his experience in Ireland on TMS today. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
What else is going
Yeah.
on?
That is it for the last 10 days. Really for the last 10 days we were in Ireland, but prior to that, preparing for 10 days in Ireland was all we were doing. And I got to say, it is such a it's such a beautiful part of the world. So many cool things. They got some gorgeous cliffs and natural rock formations. There's this thing out there called the Giant's Causeway, which I'd never heard of before this trip. And it was one of those things while we were researching what we wanted to do on this trip, we found out about the Giant's Causeway. And it's this part of the coastline of the Antrim coast, County Antrim, and it's a rock formation where all of these rocks in perfect hexagonal form have come up out of the ground and made like stair steps, like a Led Zeppelin Houses of the Holy kind of thing.
Dude, that is
And
so cool.
It is cool.
seeing it in
Yep.
person after seeing a couple photographs and saying we got to check this out, it's just amazing, absolutely mind blowing.
Did they
So,
explain how like
yeah.
it becomes hexagonal like that?
No, my guess is, and I bet if we would have sprung the money for the tour, basically everyone was walking around with these little look like long cordless phones from the 90s up to their ears that they had gotten at the gift shop. You rent them,
Right.
and basically gives you a walking tour, so you just walk around with this
Yeah.
thing up to your ear. Tina like, no, let's go down, check it out, take some pictures. But I'm guessing that on there it talked about how those things were formed. But my guess is that, like, when you've got if you blow a bubble and then you blow 6 bubbles and perfectly put them around it, you'll get a dodecahedron or something in the middle of it. I don't know the exact shape. It's a whatever, a 12-sided shape.
Right.
And I'm guessing that that's kind of like this. Like there's lava coming up in fairly even amounts from the floor, and as they're coming up, more lava on every side of it is having equal pressure on all 6 sides and creating these hexagons. But
It's pretty. I mean, it's
Yeah.
First of all, it's
That's
beautiful.
really
like,
cool.
it is really cool. Yeah.
I can't get
It's so
over how
beautiful.
amazing it looks. I think my
Mhm.
my parents had gone to Ireland maybe a few years ago, and I think that they went there because this looks awfully familiar. But it also looks like something straight
Mhm.
out of like freaking, I don't know, Lord of the Rings or something like that. I
Mhm.
can't even like.
Yeah,
look
and
at
there's
that,
so
chat.
much
So
up there
cool.
on that coast that was used for Game of Thrones. We kind of did an unofficial Game of Thrones tour and saw the caves of Cashenden, where Melisandre had her baby, and the dark hedges, those intertwining branches that over a really pretty lane. Um, it's so much of that stuff was used. They did so much filming of Storm's End
So
and things
neat.
like that. There, of course, tons of castles, and it wouldn't surprise me. We didn't hear about any of it being filmed at the Giant's Causeway, but it would not surprise us
Ye-
if there was something filmed at the Giant's Causeway.
Right, right. We have actual scientists in chat, by the way, including Bobby Franks, who's an actual scientist.
Yeah,
obviously.
they're actually giving us some educating us
Yeah,
on what caused those hexagons. So there you go.
Rapidly cooling lava created the forms due to the hexagonal structure of basalt. Bath salts are what you
Basalt.
need if you're from Florida and you want to be a zombie.
That's the Florida drug of choice, or bath salts. Yeah.
So cool, man. I love that that you had this experience though. It's so neat.
Did you
it's a
bring
blast.
back any good Irish whiskey?
No, I thought about it, right? Like you're in the airport, you're walking by that duty free store, and I'm thinking to myself, is the Jameson here going to be cheaper than the Jameson at home, or maybe some of the? There's a great distillery in Dingle, and I just want to walk
Mhm.
off the plane carrying a bottle of Dingle gin and Dingle whiskey and Dingle vodka. and but I didn't. I said, nah, I'll just see if I can get him here.
Yeah.
Dingle Irish whiskey's quite good. So
Is it okay?
yes.
I'll see if I can find some of that here. I bet I can. We've got a great liquor store close to us called Applejack that is like an old Kmart. It's massive in
Applejack
there.
sounds like that type of place. I love that.
Yeah, right.
We live in this horrid place where all liquor is state controlled. So it's just
Oh no.
yeah, it's horrendous, and it's it's about 20% more than anywhere else in the country. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
I'm sure.
fantastic.
Well, cheers, gentlemen. Though you didn't buy any whiskey there, we're still enjoying a beverage. I'm just having this. I'm getting through this Sam Adams summer pack thing that Deanna got. So it's a lager, lawn chair lager. Diddy's having a Yingling Oktoberfest, as you do in this tradition, and Cubberville is drinking a, how do you say it?
Smithix. It's Smithix. You don't pronounce that W. And of course, it's an Irish red ale because why not?
Because Ireland.
Feels appropriate.
Yeah,
Yes,
feels
exactly.
appropriate. Feels appropriate. Well, gentlemen, we do have a lot to talk about today because this whole deal with Sony and their announcements there's a lot to talk about. So let's just jump right in. It's time for the news. All right, so 19, I counted them, 19 games were announced during PlayStation's Showcase 2021 event. And we're going to talk about all of them, what they kind of mean to us, what we're excited about, what was surprising to us, what we kind of were expecting maybe they would talk about more. So first things first, the first game that they talked about was well, actually, first things that I should mention was this like little intro video that they did. I thought was pretty cool. Have you guys seen the intro video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking they were getting ready to introduce a new chess game.
Right, me too.
Based on that
Yeah,
intro video.
wasn't that cool?
Yeah,
Yeah,
legit.
It was great. It was so well done because it hit all of the other game styles, racing
Yep.
games, adventure games, strategy games. It was really, really clever.
Really
Yes,
clever.
Very, very clever.
And I loved one of the things that they did in this was that they actually hinted at some games that were like kind of exclusives. Like you would see, first of all, there's like if you're watching live on Twitch or YouTube, there's
GTA.
There's like all of these different game references. So yeah, you see GTA. There's a picture of God of War in the background. There were even more subtle insignias that you would find in different parts of the video, including I read one place where so as we know, Resident Evil has been making a ton of games, like remakes of their original games that are like remasters. The symbol from Resident Evil 4 is in this video as these soldiers are entering the it's like right there, like you can kind of see it. Well, I'm paused at the wrong spot, and it's even hard to see when you pause it, but the insignia from that game is in that scene. So Resident Evil 4 wasn't one of the things that they necessarily announced, but maybe they're teasing a remake coming, maybe timed exclusive for PS5. So
maybe. Yeah, I was getting major like Mirror's Edge vibes from part of it. I was getting what's the dude with the electricity who can skate on the
Infamous
power lines? Infamous.
Yeah.
I was getting some Infamous vibes, both of which I'd love to see on the PS5.
Oh yeah.
I was even getting
Some new
some
iteration.
Uncharted vibes, with all the running and jumping over stuff.
Right.
Parkour stuff going on. I was like, ooh, they're hinting at stuff here.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot to unpack in that 5-minute video or whatever.
There totally was. But the very first thing that they really give us is what a lot of people weren't necessarily expecting, but they still gave it to us. KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, the remake,
Right.
remastered. I don't know. This caught me off guard, though I had been hearing like rumors about, they're going to be doing a remaster of this, right? But I was like, do they have the balls to do that? you know. And then
Yeah.
when you see
Really
Revan pop up like that, I just like
'Cause
Steve
this is one
in
of the
chat
best
says,
RPGs ever, right?
pooped
This
my
is,
pants. Yeah.
you know, anybody that RPGs, this is very near the top.
Oh yeah.
Like close to the gold standard. Yeah. And um to this was something that I never got a chance to play. I mean, I could have gone back obviously and played it, but now getting the opportunity to play it with remastered graphics and improved interaction, gameplay, all that stuff, it's like great, perfect. This is kind of the entry that I've been wanting to get into KOTOR.
Yeah. Well, man.
And I was like, I was fanboying all over that. And I'm like texting people, oh my god, did you see what they just announced?
Yeah. I'm interested in talking about KOTOR a little bit more because that's one of my highlights. Let's take a moment from that and just keep going through some of our initial reactions to the announcements. Sure. The next one that they talked about was this Project Eve, which I thought was different. It kind of gave me some Devil May Cry sort of vibes, like action, action, kind of thrash, like, or hack and slash. Is that the term? Yeah, hack and slash sort of vibe. And it was beautiful. Pretty gratuitous in what the chick is wearing, but I think that it's it's like it's 2021, aren't we? I thought there have been a lot of issues with that. That was my only problem with it. Otherwise, I thought it looks like a really rad design, kind of post-apocalyptic, cyberpunkish, really neat visual.
Yeah. Are we going to get subtitles or dubbing or?
Good question.
The trailer they showed was all in Korean.
Yeah.
I would
so
bet.
I'm sure we're going to get.
Yeah, I would bet we'd get some kind of a dub. Is what I would.
I think we get the dub version. Yeah, I'm
totally
pretty sure.
Totally. And then next up we have a game that has been announced before, and so we'll very quickly talk about it. It is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So this game looks like you took Borderlands and threw it in frickin' like Dungeons and Dragons or some kind of crazy medieval style deal, and it looks really neat. And this, I never really got into Borderlands all that much, but this seems like it's right up my alley. I thought it was really cool.
Like the cell shading. Yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Borderlands is quickly becoming one of my favorite franchises. This had everything in it that I was just like, this is so cool. And it's I'll get into it more when
is it and is this a brand new franchise, a brand new IP? Or is it something that's it's not an offshoot of something else?
It's an offshoot of Borderlands because Tiny Tina was a character.
Oh, good point.
It is an offshoot.
Yeah, good point. But it's not. Well, so I guess it may exist in the Borderlands universe. That's a good.
Gotcha.
That's actually a really good question. So I don't know. The next game that they talked about was Forspoken. This game looks so neat. This was kind of a surprise for me, something that I thought looked beautiful. It reminded me, like the controls kind of reminded me a bit of the game Control and kind of that off-the-shoulder third-person deal with kind of psychic powers and magic powers and stuff. It looks really, really neat. Beautiful graphics. Expect what you expect out of a PlayStation exclusive game. PlayStation's really known for like these just really like visceral imagery and in their exclusives. So I thought that was like really, really neat. Any thoughts on that one?
That looked really good. Sort of like I like Control in like the Final Fantasy world.
Yeah, totally. Rainbow Six Extraction was the next one that they talked about. We've kind of known about this one. Again, it's similar to Tiny Tina's. This is a game that was announced, I think, at Gamescom, and it's basically co-op Resident Evil, Rainbow Six that you kill like zombies and shit. And it looks really neat. I think it looks fun. And then after that, one of my favorite games of all time, Alan Wake, is getting a remaster. Did you guys ever play Alan Wake?
Did, yeah.
I have
such
never
a cool
Never
film
played the
noir
original.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like this, and it may make me want to play it again. It may make me
Mhm.
want to play it again. But you know what I won't play again? Freaking Grand Theft Auto 5, which whoops, I skipped ahead a little bit too much. Which is being released again. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, but
Jeez.
uh,
It's like a James Cameron movie, right?
dude,
Like,
I
how
know,
many
right?
different versions of this game are they gonna release?
It's so weird, dude. It's so weird. I mean, it's made $10 billion.
Yeah.
It's just the gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, and then Ghostwire Tokyo was another game that was announced previously, but we actually got to see some what feels like gameplay, where it feels kind of spooky, cyberpunkish, like rapture-y sort of deal. It takes place, well, I guess in Tokyo is what I would assume.
Right. Yeah.
I-
No, it's good to get a good horror game in the list.
Yeah,
It is. I
the
thought that
upcoming
had
stuff.
a cyberpunk feel to it.
yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like the way this
It looked good.
Mhm.
looks. It'll be very interesting. Now here we come with a little bit of Marvel action. Coming off the heels of the Square Enix Avengers game, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. This was something that was already kind of teased a bit, but we see more gameplay coming out of this. You're a big Marvel nut, Brian. You excited about?
Huge Marvel nut, and I'm more excited about this than I was the Avengers game, and I hope this will be a lot better than the Avengers game, which kind of fizzled out for me about halfway through the second character campaign, second or third character campaign.
Oh, it's sad.
So, but this looks like a lot of fun. It's I guess you're playing the whole thing through Star-Lord's purview.
That's what I
from
would
what I can tell.
assume, like
Mhm.
it's what it kind of looked like, but I couldn't necessarily like. I would be surprised if they didn't let you jump into the other characters like they did the Avengers game, especially seeing some of the
Mhm.
animations in the gameplay trailer where freaking it looked like Gamora or Drax or something like was just
Drax.
zooming around like slicing, dicing everybody. I thought that was super rad.
Yeah, that stuff looked like cutscenes, but what looked like the only gameplay they were showing was Star-Lord. I mean, guess we'll see, but
Yeah.
it's one I'm absolutely going to pre-order.
Yeah, it looks really
as we get a little bit closer.
Totally. Another game that was talked about was Vampire Masquerade, Blood Hunt, which is basically it's like a battle royale in the Vampire Masquerade universe. People love the Vampire Masquerade universe. This has a lot of mixed reviews on Steam, which is where it's currently available now. It's going to be available on PlayStation, so that's cool for people who want that. I don't know that's for me, but kind of neat.
I didn't like the Vampire Masquerade game itself, so I can't imagine this one would appeal to me at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
I think there's. A
I
game
won't
out
play
there
it,
for
but it
everybody.
looked cool.
Yeah,
It looked really cool.
I like
Yes.
seeing all the different character classes like Nosferatu and
Yeah.
things like
the
that. but,
Bruja,
yeah,
like
but
this guy. Look at this guy. He
Right.
freaking slashes people and shotgun. That's what I would play. I like that sort of game. The next one, which is very interesting, Deathloop. Deathloop has been a game that we've been following for like 2 years. It feels like Diddy, right?
right,
Long time, yeah.
right.
And this game has been in the works, and it's this game where you play as this guy, and he's trying to kill all 8 of these people, and then there's this other assassin that's trying to kill him at the same time, and he keeps dying and then coming back to life. The whole thing had me feeling like I do not want to play this game. It just sounded like there was a lot to this.
Really?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I've watched this trailer, and for some reason I feel like maybe I do. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I was already planning on picking this up, but as soon as the presentation was over, or as soon as I finished watching it, because I watched it late, I pre-ordered. The game is downloaded. I'll be able to play it in about 5 hours.
Love it. Yeah, and
Is
that
it-
it
is it
comes out
September
tomorrow.
14th is release date. Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
By the way, it
no,
kinda-
I'm excited.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What kind of excites me about it is it's got a little bit of a Braids. Do you remember the game Braid, where you could kind of retrace and and do your steps a different way. It was a
Yes.
platform, or no, it was a side-scrolling platformer game,
Right.
and you could kind of reverse time and do things a different way, or align things differently in your reversing, and then get them back forward. And I'm kind of hoping that this has that element of, all right, I've set the wheels in motion for this time loop, so that I can act on it in the next one.
Oh yeah,
of
very
thing.
interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting theory. I don't know. I mean,
Mhm.
it got who was it? IGN got their hands on it, gave it a 10 out of 10, which is very
Really?
rare.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of
that's
people
another thing.
love it
Okay.
that got an early release to it. I thought it was more like Dragon's Lair. Like I did this
Oh.
last time. I know I can't
Oh,
do that
God.
this time.
The
I
the
gotta do something
flashbacks.
else, right?
Yeah,
So
that was such a quarter eater for me. It's like,
yeah,
oh, it's such a frustrating experience,
yep,
because that was more like, I just want to complete Dragon's Lair. I don't want I yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not playing it for fun anymore. I'm playing it because I can't not beat this thing.
Yeah. Well, just like this game got a 10 out of 10. Malignant got very good reviews, and you heard what I thought about that movie earlier. So I don't, like
Oh, right,
I
right.
don't know, man. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
who
actually going to
knows?
give it a solid try though. I do. I'm very interested in it. But going back
Mhm.
to the list of games that were announced, this was one that I was like, what is this? There wasn't a whole lot given about it, but Kid Amnesia, something by Radiohead. Did you see this, Brian?
Yeah, yeah. This is the one that had the everything in its right place music playing behind it.
Yeah.
mhm,
And I could not figure out what the heck this thing
Yeah,
is.
presented by
yeah.
Radiohead and Epic Games.
Yeah,
Like very interesting. Well, anyway, so that's all that they
yeah.
really give if you guys are watching on Twitch. The other thing that came out after that though was this really rad game that I thought looked really neat. I think it's Tachia. I can't really pronounce it.
To Chia. Yeah,
Tachia, is that how
Chia.
you see
Maybe
it?
it's just Chia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and awesome representation. Indigenous representation, and feels like Moana, like you're playing Moana,
Mhm.
which is a big hit in this household with a
Yeah, it looked yeah, Moana, and maybe even a little bit of an Animal Crossing vibe.
yeah. So neat.
I don't know. This is one that I'll be interested to hear what the actual gameplay is,
Same.
and make a decision from there.
Yeah, 'cause
Same.
it looked cool. Like you could uh put your presence into the animals and then
Yeah,
go
dig or
complete
fly or yeah.
activities or whatever you're supposed to do as the animal, and you know that animal can do that. You have to do this to complete this task. So
Right.
that one might be interesting.
Yeah.
That might be a different style of what we're all used to type of game.
Mhm.
Right. Personal favorite of mine, Uncharted, is getting a remaster for the and specifically a Thief's End and The Lost Legacy are getting remasters for PlayStation 5. One of my favorite game series of all time, and I've never played the latter one, so I might give that a
I
shot.
haven't either. It's
I
great. Yeah,
played
this is a great
I
one. If
played
they're
the
going to
last one.
remaster it,
Yeah.
did you?
Yeah, good game.
Yeah.
Good game. I know that it did not get the good reviews that prior versions, prior iterations of this game franchise got, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, I want to tell you guys my absolute favorite, and the surprise for me, this game right here, Wolverine, a freaking Wolverine
Mhm.
game made by Insomniac.
Yeah.
Like the people that make the Miles Morales and Spider-Man games are making a Wolverine game, and they better exist in the same freaking universe, bro.
Oh, absolutely. They have to. I hope. Yeah.
I will buy this,
this is-
just
this is-
because Insomniac made it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't missed yet, so
They kill
know.
it.
What's
Every
going to
single
be
thing.
the Wolverine equivalent to the fun of slinging your web and flying through New York? Is it going to be running through the Savage Land or Madripoor or
Oh,
something like that?
man.
What do we?
Yeah.
This is one I'll buy sight unseen. But
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited to see what they do, what
Yeah.
experience they give you that's like that.
Totally. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
and of course what's a PlayStation without Gran Turismo? It's awesome to see this series back. I'm not really much of a oh whoops, I pushed it all the way back there. There we go. I'm not much of a racing game guy, but Gran Turismo I have a lot of respect for in what it's done for the genre in games, racing games, and what we see them today. It's like, this is, I feel like it's PlayStation's answer to Forza, and this is so great to see. So great to see the return of this.
I believe GT now has that same mode that Forza does, where it's a little bit easier to drive the cars. Not quite so twitchy.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Responsive. I think it makes it a little bit easier to drive them.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean,
look at this.
There are a lot of screenshots where you're not positive that you're not looking at a real car.
It's gorgeous, dude. Gorgeous. And then next up, this was a big talking point. Spider-Man 2 got an announcement, possibly dealing with Kraven the Hunter as the primary villain, along with Venom. Brian.
Yeah.
This is right up your alley.
There's part of me that hopes we're going to get a Venomized Kraven in this thing, Kravenum or something like that. Because the way the intro, you hear the accent and it's like, all right, well, this has to be Kraven talking, and talking about finding a quarry worthy of himself, and then you hear Venom talk, and it just makes me hope that maybe final boss will be a Kraven Venom or a symbiote level Kraven.
Oh, right. Oh my God.
But yeah, I'm so excited about this. And the fact that you've got both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in this, again, makes me hope that you've got the ability to play as both characters in this thing, as opposed to having the two separate games that we've had from them recently.
Right. And that, by the way, when I saw that, it reminded me that I never played Miles Morales. So this weekend I bought it and I started playing it, and it is great.
It's Venom.
It's great.
It's Venom. I'm all in.
Oh, I love Venom too. I love Venom. And finally, Diddy. Do you want to? No, this is Diddy's favorite thing in the whole wide world. It is God of War Ragnarok. We got our first.
We got gameplay, and oh my God, was it glorious!
It looks great, and it looks like the same. It looks like they didn't rehaul the engine or anything. Not that they had to, because it's a freaking brilliant engine. And the baseline game from the previous God of War is still great, and it really looked like they used the same animations and everything. But this time we're experiencing the winter time, and as it kind of foretold in the previous game, with Ragnarok coming, and we're seeing some familiar faces, including what you see here, Freya. And Atreus is a bit older. He's grown up a bit, did he?
A bit.
A
little bit.
Just like we have since we last played.
And he looks like he looks and acts like a teenager, so he has aged a bit. Yes.
Yes. So this is one of the best games that you can play on PlayStation.
The
exciting.
The scene with the head on the table.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
He uses the freaking spoon to change it.
I loved it.
Oh man. So Trace has gotten older. There's also Fat Thor. Everybody's really upset about this.
No, that's real Thor.
That's Thor.
Thor in Norse mythology, that is exactly what he was. He was a slovenly ale drinking.
He's Endgame Thor, basically.
Yes.
That's what I say. Yeah.
Yes.
It's what Thor is supposed to be. So everybody's all mad because let me see if I can pull up a picture of Fat Thor. No, they pull up Chris Hemsworth in a bodysuit. No.
Yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Just type Norse Thor.
Yeah, here you can kind of see.
You'll get the right guy.
Here you go. There he is. He's rotund, as he's supposed to be, as a Thor.
Right.
Anyway, so I thought that looked brilliant. Lots of great titles. We can see the why the hype is real around this past presentation. Very quickly, going around the room, Brian, would love to hear from you. What was your highlight from the show, or announcements in general? Anything that was maybe surprising, or what's a takeaway?
It's not going to be a surprise to anybody. I mean, I'm a big Marvel guy, so seeing a little bit more of Guardians and getting just the briefest little tease for Wolverine. But Spider-Man 2 is the one, and you can see in the background, I'm a big Spider-Man guy as well. That's the one that I'm probably the most excited about. By the way, 19 games introduced. COVID-19, coincidence?
Wow, total.
Hmm.
No, it's fabrication.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, Spider-Man 2 is what I'm most excited about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Diddy,
Yeah.
you're most
Uh,
excited about Gran Turismo.
no, not a whole lot of intrigue and mystery here. I got to see gameplay from my favorite franchise ever, God of War. So I was just like all giddy over here. But the one that really, I mean, I'm all in God of War. That's the game. But the one that surprised me was Tiny Tina's Wonderland. That looks, it's quirky and weird and uses humor and all that stuff in a game. And I was just like, this looks like so much fun. You're supposed to have fun playing games, and this one just looks fun from beginning to end. And I'm really looking forward to that because, like I said, Borderlands is quickly becoming one of my favorites. It's a really good franchise.
For me, my personal favorite coming out of that was Wolverine. I am very excited to see what they do with a Wolverine game, specifically Insomniac. But yeah, close second is KOTOR. Seeing Darth Revan there, dude, was like, I was excited. I'm very interested. This is kind of where I wanted to, didn't want to go too far into it then, but wanted to hear from you guys now. What do you anticipate that gameplay to be like? Do you anticipate it to be similar to what the original game was, where you kind of just have preset paths, or is it going to be more hack and slash, sort of Final Fantasy VII remake vibe? If you remember how that game is played,
Yeah.
what do you guys anticipate?
If the improvements are not just going to be solely in the graphics, if they're going to do some gameplay improvements, and again, I'm coming to this from a perspective of not playing the original. I would expect maybe that they'd make it open world and have it be a bigger landscape that you're completing tasks and quests and that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I guess that puts it more into the just plain old the Old Republic, the MMO that they had. But
Work.
yeah,
Work.
I played that. I played the crap out of that, and I enjoyed it
Yeah,
tremendously.
really.
So
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more of along the same lines, more of an open world in the along the lines of Assassin's Creed or Red Dead Redemption or something along those lines. Here's your main story quest line, but here's 6,000 side quests that you can go to also, and if you want to do those, have a grand time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping it's more along those lines.
Right. And we asked you all at home, well, not at home, on Twitter, what are you excited about when it comes to all the announcements? And we got some responses. Want to give some shout outs to some people. First of all, Cyrenex said definitely the KOTOR remake. The original still is on my list of best games I've played. Agreed. Still one of my favorite games ever. Run, Jump, Stop. I saw him in chat a little bit. It's Bill, our friend Bill. For me, it's KOTOR. I'm sad it's a console exclusive on PlayStation, but since it's coming to PC, I'll live. Overall, I think it was a really great presentation. I agree, Bill. Daniora, who's been on the show, she's my arch enemy because she beat me in ANTP.
Hashtag not better.
She says God of Thor. I mean War. Yeah, that's it. God of War. Everybody's thirsting so hard over this thick Thor, and I think that's great. I think it's great. The one thing that I was actually a little surprised about, just to quickly mention it, was Uncharted. We don't see a new Uncharted game.
I was surprised about that too. And actually, I was surprised that we didn't see a new Alan Wake game. When we started hearing about that, I thought they were going to do a brand new game, and I'm a little bit surprised that it's a remastering.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not disappointed because now an entire generation who may not have ever played it, like, it's kind of at the top of their list of, hey, look at that thing I just saw. Let me try that. And it's an opportunity for people to get into that, which is a great horror game. So,
Yeah,
it's cool.
but of their 19 titles, of the 19 titles they introduced, almost a quarter of them are just remakes, are newly remastered
Yeah.
versions of
Good point.
existing games. So that does feel like a bigger percentage than it probably should be. We should have gotten, I'm kind of with you, maybe a couple of these being new titles as opposed to just remastered existing titles.
Yep. But remasters, especially with games like Alan Wake and Uncharted, I think is indicative that there's something happening behind the scenes. They're about
Right, and they want to
make
keep
something
the
new.
keep the excitement level for those IPs up so that when they do introduce a new game, it's not, oh wow, they're still making Gran Turismo games. Wow, cool. That
Yeah,
sort of
bingo.
thing.
Right.
Yeah, really.
Diddy, I want you to queue up this next conversation, specifically going back to your thoughts around God of War. There was an interesting kind of revelation around God of War that's interesting to talk about.
All right, so I sort of mentioned that we got to see some really honest to goodness gameplay from the forthcoming God of War Ragnarok game, and it was glorious because it's the greatest franchise ever. And but behind the scenes, there was a change of directors, and got us thinking, what does that mean for the game, and what does the director for a game actually do? So let's take a look at that, and then let's sort of banter around sometimes where a director change didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
Maybe Star Wars movies are in there somewhere.
Yeah. So, I thought that first of all, Cory Barlog is great and is kind of that visionary behind what the previous God of War game was about. And he's still involved as a producer in God of War Ragnarok, but there's kind of a tradition in these games, it sounded like, that where the previous director steps down to make way.
This is definitely a thing in their studio where one director does a game and then they will go off and do a different game. And the same director does not do a franchise IP game over.
Right.
And I think I saw an interview with him. I think there's only one, and I think it was Corey that trying to remember which game it was too. That I'm blanking on which game that he's done two of them.
Oh,
But
as opposed to stepping down after the first one.
I mean, what was his name? Neil Druckmann for The Last of Us. He's done both of those games. I think he was the director on both.
Maybe. This
be
bothered me a little bit when I heard about it because the last game was so good. The story was perfect. The pacing was really good. The gameplay was fantastic. I was a little worried about this until I found out it's a normal thing, and that he also was going to be involved with the game anyways, that he wasn't actually leaving the company. It was just, this is a normal thing they do, is switch around people so they don't get burned out. So I guess I'm okay with it. We'll wait to see how it goes. Their writers and designers are still all the same. So hopefully we'll get, another really good story out of this franchise.
Yeah, and top notch at that too. Brian, you have any perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, with games, you've compared to movies, right? You've got the director is obviously a separate person than the screenwriter or the producer, the people who fund the movie or get the right acting out of the actors or write the right words for the actors. So depending on what elements of those they keep from the other games that are working, the gameplay elements, the writing, the voiceover directing, is the director, the overall director of a game, just the person who makes sure that everything is in a consistent vision, all those wheels are turning. And if that's the case, then the right elements are being maintained, right? The things that people love about the game, the writing, the voiceover work, all that stuff should be consistent across, and we just get maybe a different look and feel to the game between directors.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that it's a great opportunity to kind of get a new creative like force in there with Corey still involved. I think that's goodness too. So it'll be interesting. I think that, areas where you see that being an issue, like you mentioned Star Wars, I put that in the show notes because like like when you went from JJ to the one that everybody hated but I loved, oh my god, why am I blanking his name? The guy.
Force Awakens was
no.
Last Jedi.
Freaking
Yeah.
director. Oh gosh,
maybe-
Ryan Johnson. Jesus.
Brian Johnson.
Chat?
That's it. Yeah.
That was like a little Ryan something, right? Yes. I that was like a little culture or not. It felt like shocking. You know what I mean?
It was
The
jarring.
tonality, it was jarring, and which I think it was in the right way because I still think that the Last Jedi is the best in that trilogy and is one of the better Star Wars movies in general. But I think that when you have very stark differences in that vision, like that could be detrimental. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Don't forget, we had Irvin Kershner, who came in as the director of Empire Strikes Back after George Lucas directed Episode 4. So
that's right.
Not to mention Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher and the original Batman movie series.
Right.
There's good examples and bad examples. So
right, exactly.
Mhm.
And so Brian, thinking about kind of one of the last stories around that we kind of talked about earlier. Why don't you cue up this next part of the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, the surprise announcement that Sony announced in a new release from Rockstar Games. That's right, folks. We're getting GTA 5 on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Oh, wait. You said 5, not
It's
6?
okay.
What?
We were yeah, 5. We're getting 5 again. 5 version 4.
Jesus.
V5.
Or
Yeah.
GTA 5 version 36.
Isn't it
Right,
crazy?
exactly. Yes.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, I know it's not easy to put together a new GTA game without a lot of planning and forethought, but they've had a lot of time.
Yeah.
They easily could have put together a GTA 6. Streets still work the same way. Cars still work the same way. You just really got to come up with new jobs for your guy to do.
I was gonna say, really, can't you just leave it exactly the same?
Right?
And come up with a different story and put it in the same world? I mean,
Yeah, right.
It's Grand Theft Auto. You're expecting a certain thing out of that game. It can't be that hard to come up with a different story for that.
Right.
Move it to Miami or something. I don't know. It just,
I don't know. Yeah. Like,
Detroit.
yeah.
Feels like we've had, yeah.
or like go to
I
fucking Paris. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
Do
go
something
there
there we
or
go.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I could go work for Rockstar.
Wasn't the first one in like the top down one? That was London,
Oh, that
wasn't
was
it? Or
London.
no?
I
Am I
forgot.
thinking-
London.
Yeah. Because they had that
Yeah.
whole top down with like the car with the British flag painted on top of it.
Right.
was a whole
So maybe it's
deal.
time to go back. GTA 6,
Yes.
back to London.
Back to
to
London.
London.
Oh, I'd like that. That'd be rad. Could you imagine all
Yeah.
like the terrible Cockney accents that would come out of that?
Oh,
Like-
of course, yeah.
Oh.
Same American actors that have been doing all the GTA stuff.
Get Dick Van Dyke in there just for shits and giggles.
Right. Yeah.
The Dukes of London, chat says.
The Dukes of London. Sure.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
part of the problem is, how do you top it, right? This game has been so successful.
Yeah.
If you put something out and it's really bad,
Mhm.
does that harm the $1 billion franchise that you got going on? It's what, 10 billion,
10
something
billion.
ridiculous.
$10 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if
It's
you
insane.
over innovate, you run the same risk, right? You say, all right, well, this time we're going to make the cars a lot harder to drive, or we're going to really make it feel like like you're really driving in a big city. So there's going to be delays and Uber and traffic issues and things like that. They really want to make it a real experience. They kind of go overboard with that. So yeah, I mean, it's a fine line. You want to innovate, but not too much in a game like this.
It's true. And I think that they can they probably are in the midst of making Grand Theft Auto 6. There have been all these reports about it coming out, right? And
Oh,
I
they
think
have
that
to be.
they definitely feel that pressure, and they want to make sure something's ready. They do a pretty good job of that. Look at how much time it took for Grand Theft Auto 5 to come out in the first place.
Right.
Not this
Right.
20th time, the first time. And then, Red Dead 2, like stuff like that. So I'm good. Like,
Maybe that. I think I just came up with the idea for GTA 6.
oh,
You steal cars, but then you use them for rideshare, and you pick up people and take them places like Crazy Taxi. You
yeah,
still got to steal cars, but
but you use them to like make money, or you use
use
them for
them to
your,
make money doing rideshare. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
you take them to, hey, I
Or
need you to
Uber
go.
Eats.
I
You got to
like
go pick up, right? Go pick up some Chick-fil-A and take it to a guy on 14th Street, and then give this other lady a ride to the vet.
It's such
with
like
her
a
puking
2020
dog.
version of a fucking GTA game.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, this is great. All right. Where do I Rockstar? Ring me up. Call me. I'll
Yeah.
work with you. On
If your
this.
character doesn't wear a mask, by the way, you immediately die.
That's right. The first half of the game is installing a plexiglass barrier between the front seat and the back seat.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Write in, by the way, if you're sick of GTA 5. I love that game, by the way. I bought it 3 times.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
I won't buy it again,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
great. But write in joystickandmouse@gmail.com. We'd love to hear you. But Sony certainly brought their A game when it comes to this presentation. When you look at something like Nintendo, which was okay, it was fine. There were a couple of things out that came out of that I thought were really fun. Even Xbox was better than that. They really showed off. They flexed like how many games are really coming to their system and the power of their Game Pass and everything. But when it comes to like the sheer breadth of exclusive games and stuff, I thought Sony really showed up with just guns blazing, man. They really came out swinging. We've been complaining about how little we've seen as far as innovation goes, and that may be true, I would say, for their console technology, which isn't really embracing the way Xbox is creating Game Pass and doing all that. But they really knocked it out of the park with the quality of their games. So just to kind of wrap up this conversation, I wanted to get from you all, because there's always this thought about console war, which I think is silly. But, when we think about the way that companies are innovating in the industry itself, I still say Xbox has a leg up in that way with the way that they're doing, Game Pass and everything. But I would say that Sony really stepped it up as far as game quality goes. What are your all's thoughts?
So I'm a Sony. I've owned every Sony console that they've ever put out, and I've owned a few of the Microsoft, the Xbox consoles. It was just a matter of saying, all right, which one has more of the games that I want to play on it, and it landed on Sony. That said, I wish Sony had a service as cool as Game Pass. I mean, they've got PlayStation Plus, which is pretty good, but it's nothing like Game Pass and the width and breadth of stuff available as part of that.
Yeah, true that. Diddy, what are your thoughts?
But I mean, this sort of showcases what Sony's marketing strategy is, right? We're going to put out the best group of games that we can possibly make, and we expect you to buy each and every one of them, or at least enough of them to make it worth our while. So yeah, we're going to put out killer games so that you buy our console, as opposed to, I think Xbox sort of goes we're going to put out everything and hope you get a little bit of each and every one.
Yep.
Right? So we'll get it a little bit at a time, and Sony goes, nope, we're going to make them great and get it all at once.
Yeah. Yep. Very interesting. If you want to write in and let us know what you thought was a highlight for you coming out of this event, you can email joystickandmouse@gmail.com. Did you agree with something, disagree, whatever? Email us, joystickandmouse@gmail.com. And I want to play a quick sound. Hold on. Wait, this one. That noise can only mean one thing. It's time for full stream ahead, Diddy. What you got?
So a lot of us in the community just were running around at Tiernan, chopping
Eternum.
trees, killing wolves, and any number of other tasks in the open beta for New World for Amazon Studios. Because it was open beta this weekend. Well, this week it was announced that this new MMO would be available on Amazon's cloud gaming service Luna. This got me thinking, what does that mean for the game, and does it change our outlook for it? And this got me thinking, why is World of Warcraft so popular? World of Warcraft is so popular because I've got a computer sitting, I got a laptop sitting downstairs that has got to be at least 10 years old, and it still plays World of Warcraft. And do you know what? If I can fire up a brand new game and it looks beautiful and it'll still run on that computer, then I think it's got a chance to be a big hit. And I think that this running on Luna, New World running on Luna, will give it a leg up, because people that do not have the latest and greatest technology and computer systems to run, you know, an all-out MMO like that will be able to do it if all the horsepower is running in the cloud. I think this is a really good strategy by Amazon to bring this to their cloud service.
Totally.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, because everybody's got, you know, we've all got great rigs, great gaming rigs, but there are so many people who would maybe try a game like this who maybe don't have the latest and greatest hardware. So this is, yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Just making something that still plays great on the widest variety of machines.
Yeah, and the big thing for me with something like this is how well a game, well, I guess the horsepower on the actual connection to servers and stuff is happening on AWS anyway when it comes to this game. Which is a lot of fun, by the way. We've been playing New World here and there, and it's a lot of fun. And
cool. I have not checked it out yet.
It was neat.
I'm excited about this.
The open beta was out this past weekend. I played a bit of the closed beta as well. It's a fun game. It's very different. It's not your typical MMO, but it's got a lot of the same trappings of it. But you know, like with it being an MMO, network connectivity in general is like really important because you're communicating and interacting with people in real time. So, but I guess, you know, my concern was that, you know, you would be using bandwidth to kind of interact with people, and then that bandwidth is also being used for streaming the game from a server farm to your computer or your phone or wherever that you're going to play it. But I guess it doesn't really matter because AWS is hosting the game itself too, because this is an Amazon game. So that bandwidth wouldn't necessarily need to happen, you know, up and down. So anyway, I thought that was, I think this is a great idea, and more power to Amazon for all that. I think that's
for sure.
That's really good.
Yeah, it comes out September 28th, so I'll jump on it then.
Yep,
Check it out.
Couple of weeks.
Yep, couple weeks.
And it's not your typical MMO going on either. It's pay for it once, play it as long as you want, and as much as you want.
And it's only like $40, dude.
And it's only like $40. Yeah. So I think this is.
Steam.
I can see cosmetic stuff coming down the line, pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the plan. They have a shop. They have an in-game shop, and that they'll use. And we talked about it a bit. I was on the instance a month or so ago when Garrett was on vacation, and Scott and I talked about this. And it was there's a lot to glean. I would recommend, folks, if you're interested in learning more about this game, if you haven't heard much about it, you can go back and listen to that episode of The Instance. I think we talked about it that week here on this show as well on Joystick and Mouse. So it's a cool game, but if you have any interest in playing, and you can hit us up at the Discord server. You can just go to incastmedianetwork.com. There's a button there to join our Discord server and hang out with the community. So a bunch of us will be playing that, I'm sure. I want us to get to your game, Brian Ibbott. Brian Ibbott brought us a game. Hold on, we're going to play. Hold on.
Yes, and the reviews were so mixed. I'm surprised.
Brian, you brought us a game. And I want you to tell me all
I
about
did,
it.
and like this is gonna surprise nobody because of my Marvel fanboyism. But a couple weeks ago, just under a month ago, boy, and I'm trying. Netmarble released a new Marvel game that I am amazed is a mobile game. It's got so much depth um, and customizability. It's called Marvel Future Revolution. It's an MMO set in the Marvel universe. You pick a character that uh, is one of 8 superheroes, eight of your starter superheroes: Iron Man, Captain America, Spider Man, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Star Lord. Trying to remember who else. Storm. So they are going into the X-Men with this one as well, and they're dealing with this thing called a convergence, which was a plot line from maybe about 8 years ago in Marvel Comics, where the different universes were colliding. And so you were getting crossovers between this weird Marvel universe and this other Marvel universe that you know. And so it's a way for them to explain why there are 200 Doctor Stranges running around in this game, because each one came from a different universe. But it's it's a really well done, deep MMO with a lot of tasks. It borrows some elements from World of Warcraft and games like that, where um, you've got side quests and almost daily quests along with the regular storyline. Something that they add that's kind of cool is that the more characters you add and level, their individual levels add up to a squad level that improves all of your characters. So it adds to the HP and attack and defense of all of your characters. And to kind of make it so that you're not bored just going through and saying, okay, well, now it's time to run Iron Man through the Hydra level. There's autoplay features that let you just run a character through and maybe jump in and do the boss battles yourself. So there's a lot of aspects to this, a lot of depth, a lot of character customization. You're earning gear and you're earning gems to put in the gear and things like that. But there's so much, I don't know, there's enough depth to it that it doesn't feel like a game that's just targeted to take your money so that you can have the best gear as a free-to-play player. Somewhat free to play. I have spent about $10 in this thing, but somewhat free to play player. There's a lot of content that you can get to without having to worry about some whale who's spent thousands of dollars in the game and smashing everybody around them in PvP.
The game itself, by the way, like we have it playing here. If you're watching the live video, I'm very impressed with the quality of a mobile game.
It totally doesn't feel like this easily could have been a Switch game. It's got a very, and I always forget the name of it. There was a series of Marvel games started with the PS2 that were centered in the Marvel universe along this kind of top-down view kind of lines. Marvel Ultimate? No.
Ultimate Alliance.
Can't remember the name. Ultimate Alliance. Yep. There we go. Yes, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. The similar kind of thing where you've got tasks, you're completing them as Marvel characters, and easily could have seen this thing on a console. Would have loved to see it actually as a PC / desktop, a Mac game. But hey, I'll play it on the mobile. I'll throw it on my iPad. You definitely want it on a bigger tablet screen.
I was gonna ask you that.
It plays okay on a phone, but you're gonna want to play it on a bigger screen for a lot more control and connectivity. There's currently no controller support, which is kind of a bummer. You're using on-screen thumb controls, but hopefully that changes. Hopefully they get some controller support in here.
Right. Super impressed by this, dude. I had no idea that this was a thing. Like,
this is there was another Marvel game that Strike Force that I played for quite a while and just basically gave up on because it was starting to feel like work. This one doesn't feel like work yet, so I'm hoping that it continues to not feel like work.
And how much does it cost, Brian?
It is absolutely
Oh, is
free,
it really?
and you can play it as a yeah, it's a free to download game, and you can be a completely free to play player, not spend any money. You'll earn these gems that you can use on opening up extra character slots, so you can
Oh,
have one of
cool.
each of the eight
Right.
characters. Magic, who we're seeing in the Midnight Suns game that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I
Right.
know that's not a PS exclusive, but yet another Marvel game on the horizon that I'm really excited about. Magic is going to be the next character added to this thing, so they're going to be regularly adding characters to this thing that you can then take and level the same way and add to your squad.
So cool.
So
Sounds cool.
So
yeah,
cool.
have to check
give it
it
a
out.
shot. Check it out.
Yeah, so we always rate it out of 10. What would you give it?
I would give it a let's say 7.5. No, I'll say 8. 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, great playability. The only complaints I have is that there are almost too many game modes to play in. So you've got your regular storyline, but then you've got a couple different PvP modes, one as a group, one as an individual player. You've got raids, you've got instances, you've got blitzes, and it seems like they could probably pare down some of
Let's
those things and make it so
add
that,
all the buzzwords
yeah.
that we can about group content.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well, that'll be the next
maybe
game that Filthy Casuals raids in is some.
there we
Marvel.
go. Yes, Marvel Future Revolution. Sure.
Too cool, man. Too cool. Well, thanks for bringing that. And thanks for
Absolutely.
joining us, gentlemen. That's going to be a show. As we do, we like to clap it out. Let's clap it out, chat. Say job well done, Mr. Ibbott, as always, with everything that you
Thank
do.
you. Pleasure was mine.
Well, I want to give folks an opportunity, if they haven't heard you for some reason, like to know where to get your stuff. Where can people find
Sure.
you?
Yeah, the best place to start with is the show Coverville. It's a cover music podcast that I've been doing since 2004, featuring independent artists and smaller bands and labels doing transformative covers. This isn't your sound-alike kind of bar cover band that tries to sound like Coldplay one second and U2 the next. These are covers that transform a song into something brand new and give you a new way to experience the songs that you're familiar with. And most shows focus on covers of and by a specific artist. So recently, folks like the Killers and I'm trying to think of like some of the sweeping differences of shows I've done recently, because like we've had Roy Orbison,
Right.
ZZ Top, Tony Bennett, Depeche Mode, and stuff like that. So you'll find that at coverville.com. Of course, the other show that these guys and I know very well is America's Next Top Podcaster. It's a lesson in how to podcast, but it's done through a reality show engine. We use it's like the Unreal Engine. We use the reality show engine. So check that out at americasnexttoppodcaster.com.
Yep. And let's see. I was on a show of yours recently, Soundography. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, of course,
Um,
Soundography. Yep, music show I do with Hammond Chamberlain. We take a week and listen to the entire library of an artist, and then talk about the highs and lows and where we saw the path of that musician or band
Yeah,
going over the course of their library.
that's fun. That's all this is so much fun.
That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Soundography is
Oh,
a great
thanks.
show.
And of
Yeah,
course,
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
it is. Yeah. No, those sorts of I hear what you guys put into it. I mean, that's got to be it's a labor of love for sure. And then
Some bands, it's a lot more work than others. That's for sure.
I have to listen to this for like another
Yeah.
hour.
Oh, another Reba McEntire album. How many are there? Yeah, because we try
Too
and pick
many.
stuff that right. We try and pick stuff that people maybe only know one or two songs by that artist.
Sure.
And like a one hit or two hit wonder kind of band. Obviously, Reba McEntire and other groups we've done have had bigger runs, but when you only know the hits, it's like, all right, well, let's delve deep into the catalog and see what their stuff
It's-
is like. And some have been incredible
It's enlightening.
surprises.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And
Yeah.
of course, the morning stream, your daily dose of morning show that you can get every.
Oh yeah, that.
day.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, frogfence.com/TMS. It's like a radio morning show without all the obnoxious stuff that goes along with it. A
Yeah,
little
just
bit
Brian
more
Ibbott being obnoxious.
intelligent
That's
and
all.
fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's right. It's just me being obnoxious.
Oh,
Hopefully that's enough.
Oh, wieners and tacos.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, there's that too.
it's the best. It's the best. Well, thank you again. You're world class, Brian Ibbott. Thanks for being here. Everybody go check him out if you haven't already. If you haven't, you're missing out because this is like one of the original podcasters doing his thing. So it's great.
Listen, I'm on so many podcasts. People have to work hard not to hear me.
That's true. It's like, what are you even doing? Do you even podcast,
Right,
bro?
exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, for us here at Joystick and Mouse, you can reach out to us by emailing joystickandmouse@gmail.com. Our website is joystickandmouse.com. Also, you can get merch for the show. As a reminder, shop.joystickandmouse.com. Some fun shirts, including something like this. And also, you can become a patron, support what we're doing over at patreon.com/joystickandmouse with some really cool rewards. So, with that, guys, let's do a quick round of so longs, starting with you, Diddy.
See you later, folks.
Mr. Ibbott.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, I like that. And from me, be good to yourself, be good to others. So long.
If you like this show, check out more great content at incastmedianetwork.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
All right, GG's. Job well done, dude. Thanks so
Very
much
good.
for being here and sticking around
Yeah.
a little extra long.
Yeah,
Was a
Brian,
a lot of
thank you very
fun.
much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't get to talk about video games enough, so this is cool.
you're welcome to stop by anytime, good sir.
Yep.
Anytime.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, I'll let you get back to your evening. I'm sure you're tired.
All right.
You.
Yeah, I'm starting to hit that
yeah.
that wall,
I know.
the 1
Yeah.
a.m. Ireland time wall.
Well, you enjoy it. Give my love to Tina and
Sounds
everybody
good,
else.
man, and good seeing you guys.
Yeah,
And
likewise.
tell Tim thanks for doing collegey stuff so that I could step in.
I will. I'll let him
We
know.
will pass it
I'll let
along.
him know. All right, brother. All right, we'll talk again
to you
soon.
guys later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Chat. You guys have been world class.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Is
Hold on. Wait.
there anything up there that we need to answer? I saw a couple of other. Bobby mentioned that the Marvel movie we're not allowed to talk about.
What, Thor 2? We're not allowed to talk about
Yeah,
that?
that's see, yes, that's the one. It
We're not allowed to talk about that? Why?
was awful,
No, listen, you're being a wiener, okay? We talked about this.
awful.
It was fine. It's the worst out of all of them. But
Yeah,
it's fine.
it's a dark elf movie.
Let's go raid Garrett Weinzerl and them doing the Angry
That's
Chicken.
awesome, Duran. That's awesome.
Go give Garrett and all them our love. All right. Wait, raid.
Oh boy.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye, chat.